All right, so welcome back to the Evolution of a Multifamily Investor series. I'm Jason Yarusi. I'm so excited for today's guest. If you think these have been great, we will not disappoint with today. We have Dawn Berube on the show. Hey, Dawn, how you doing?
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm
Thank you for having
great.
me.
Oh, I'm psyched to have you, and this has been a long time coming. Dawn and her mother, Selina, honestly are a power team here of going out there and taking action. And it's one thing to find a good partner, but also have that family as your partner. And it's just such a cool story because your mom, Selena, I'm calling her mom, but in that front,
Yes, Mom.
was the one who had done real estate years ago, right? And so she had done it, and then of course moved into other narratives of life, and now we came back and you both look to join forces to go out there and tackle buying multifamily. So take us back a little bit. Talk to us about that initial conversation. Who led it? Who was the one that was the driver that said we should do this, and how did that spawn?
Gosh, wow. Yeah, that's a big question, but a really good one and an interesting one. Mom always wanted to get back into real estate. She had done lots of different things when I was little. And I clearly remember when she had purchased her 20 unit in Newark, New Jersey. And I remember us driving up there, and I was, I think, about 8 or 9 years old. And I remember thinking, oh my God, are we moving? Like, are we moving to an apartment building? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Right. But I quickly learned, obviously, they were trying to purchase this apartment building. And I always knew growing up that they had always enjoyed real estate and they had always made good money through real estate. That was like a constant I through my life. So I had always heard about it. Of course, you pave your own path. I was always in sports. And they always let us pave our own path. They gave us the tools to do that and be very independent. And so I was in sports. I went for my degrees in exercise physiology and then my master's in kinesiology. And, I kept coaching. I was working with lots of athletes and people and training them and training myself still while I was with, training them. But there was always something in the back of my mind that I wanted to do a little bit more. I was teaching at a university, I was doing all these great things, and I did love it. I absolutely still love it. But I always wanted to do something, quote unquote, in business, have my own business. I was really kind of in my own business anyway with training my clients. I wasn't working for somebody else. And I knew there was something bigger I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure what that was. But, my mom always talked about real estate. So we did a few fix and flips, we had done some of that, but my mom always wanted to get back to multifamily, always. So I would say the conversation probably started a good maybe 8 years ago where she was planting the seeds and stuff. But it got deeper probably right before I had my son, about 5 years ago. And very quickly, I kind of did some research and thought, wow, I think I want to do this. But, life, I had my son, I was very sick, having him, and then my daughter, and things kind of started moving forward. But we knew we wanted to get serious. And so that was probably about, I would say, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we really started having the conversations. We were looking at different things, how we could do it. And I know Mom had, ran into you and to Peely and loved you guys. And she said, hey, you've got to, I know you're busy with mom life and stuff, but you have to check them out.
Yeah.
And so the rest is history, kind of, at this point.
Well, it's been incredible because for those listening, as you I'm sure picked up, Dawn is a working mom, right? Her husband also working, right? And so they're not sitting there with all the time in the world, but they made the decision. Mom, your mom, you call
Yes.
grandma on the same part, but
Grandma.
yeah,
Yes,
but
grandma and
Selena
mom.
on the same front, helping with kids, busy on her own narrative too, right? Out there said now's the time because the time does not get better by waiting, right? I need to make the choice today and take the step forward to just back to what I know works, right? Because life takes us on a lot of journeys, and as we go down that path of just finding our way, sometimes it takes us away from something that we knew worked, but it just wasn't right that right time in the moment. And your mom kept consistently coming back and coming back and coming back and saying, hey, now is the time we have to do this. When we dove in, we
Yes.
actually met, when we were running the meetup out in New Jersey, and so
Mhm.
that was just a great introduction. And you two have actively been going out there and making it happen. So let's talk about how you've broken up really just this tackling approach of going after multifamily and some of the hurdles we face. I know those will be beneficial because what I think has been great about these hurdles is that it's always that massive, massive, massive mountain that we're going over
Mhm.
until you get over it, and now it's just a little speed bump, and now we get to the
Right.
next massive, massive mountain, and that's just like life, right? Everything's hard at the moment when we're in it, but then you get over it, and now we get to that next part of that next piece, and we can talk to some of the things we're even going through now. But talk to us about how you break up the responsibilities of this process.
Yeah, that was definitely an evolution. Let's talk about evolution. It was definitely an evolution because I would say in the very beginning, when you're up leveling and you're in something that's unknown, like for me, multifamily was like a foreign language. I always explain it, because I knew what I knew already in, my other life, so to speak. And this was different for me. But even for my mom, she knew what she knew and she loved it and got in it. And she knows a lot, like that brain of hers. She knows a lot of certain things that I couldn't even begin to understand even right now. But she also knew that in order to go forward in today's market, in today's day, she was going to need some coaching and she was going to need some guidance. And so the biggest thing was I had an idea of already what I was kind of good at just by looking. Well, let's start. I always knew that mom and I, for sure, I laughed that we needed a referee. That's kind of where our coaching
Yeah.
evolved into. That was one of the biggest things I think I said to you when I first met you was we need a referee. But part of it was because I knew what mom was good at just by listening to her talk. I knew what I was good at just by my life experiences and what I was really attracted to. And so from the very, very beginning, mom was fighting some of the things she was very good at. And she was trying to make me do things that I was, listen, I mean, I can do some of them, but I wouldn't have been great at them like she was better at. But she was fighting me. You got to do this. You got to learn this. You got to drive it. And I'm like, Mom, let's take a step here. So once we started getting over those hurdles, and let me tell you, that took a while because she didn't want to, she resisted. She really resisted. But once we got over the hurdles, it was like a natural rhythm because once I had my daughter and my kids into school and I'm like, I'm better from a time perspective doing like the underwriting.
Yeah.
I'm better from a time not only was that like kind of more of what we always talk about, like your superpower, or that's, I'm learning that superpower, but that's more where I'm better at. Okay. I'm always learning. So I have a hard time always saying superpower because I'm still learning, but,
We're
that's
always still
where,
learning. So I think if
yes, we're
someone says
always
I've learned it
learning.
all, that's where you have to put up the pause. Because I've heard it before. I know it
Yeah.
all, and I know that knowing
No.
the wrong way and doing it consistently does not make it the right way. So
Right. What I know is I don't know it all. And that's, I'm always up leveling and trying to up level. Right.
yeah,
So the biggest thing was that was our biggest hurdle at first. That was our evolution, was really trying to start getting into the roles. And it started to naturally happen. So when mom finally got to the space of recognizing she was really good at talking or the initial call or the initial beginnings with the broker. So I could then get in there and start dissecting into the analyzer.
yeah,
We knew that. And then it started picking up naturally. Then I would talk to the brokers when I needed to for certain aspects of it. And she would do the follow up. I was good at kind of, helping her follow up. I was kind of like managing her to follow up
yeah.
and do it that way. And now we're kind of getting into our rhythm.
And that's
So,
important, right? It's finding where you both can work together, right? And where you can
yeah.
both be complementary and not on top of each other. And you're both so talented in many different ways, and your mom is very talented in going out there and doing a lot of these parts. But having the conversation, she's great on the phone. right? So put her out there and
Right.
start talking, like fantastic, right? But
Right.
sometimes we have to get out of our own way, and that can be hard for all of us. Is that we're our own worst enemy because the harshest critic of ourselves at all times.
Mm.
And when we stop that and just go out there and do the actions and stop putting the thought process on ourselves, it allows things to open up. And we
Yeah.
went in there, we did a lot of dissecting on markets, right? So you went out there, we chose markets, and it can be difficult, right? Because breaking into anything,
Hmm.
right? Just being a new party trying to break into a market, and just that part, there's not so much a resistance, but there's a quote unquote level where there's going to be other more familiar people at the moment until you're the familiar people, right? So we had that part
Right.
where you were trying to find your way in the market, trying to find a way of getting into the market, and then you started making relationships, right? And those, for
Right.
the part of having conversations to let people know, and like this, for anybody listening, like the first time you call a broker, the broker's not gonna be like, oh yeah, great, I got the best property in the world, here you go, right? It's going to be
No.
it's going to be a call just to make sure that you're not like the other 47 calls they've gotten that day saying, I want to buy multifamily, to make sure that you're serious. Because on the front end, if the broker does have a property, they want to send it to someone they know, like, and trust, who they know can get the property brought in a timely manner and do what they say they're going to do, right? And they don't want to
Hmm.
look bad in the same front. Plus, they want to make money. It's as however you go. So as you got into these markets and you really dissected, what has been some things from a track record, consistency level that have helped you build the relationships that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what you just said, it's consistency, right? It's taking the action, consistency, and I think one of the biggest
When you say
things
consistency, how?
on several fronts, right? Consistency in calling them, right? In saying what you're going to do, having a conversation and being consistent, like every couple of weeks, having a conversation with the broker, every couple of, you know, I wouldn't even say weeks. It's like when you're analyzing a property, I was always consistent in looking at the property and then getting in touch with the broker to let them know, like, hey, this is a great property, but it's not for us. Or, hey, like, this is, my price. I think we're going to be a little off, what's going on here, or whatever it is having those consistent conversations with the broker. I remember one broker telling us, he sent us a property. He knew it might not be for us. I knew I had like a day or two really to kind of like analyze it and really get in there. And I got in there, got it done. I called him back immediately and said, listen, it's a great property. It's just not going to be for us. And he says, you know what? I can always count on you getting in touch with me and letting me know what's going on. And I knew that you would do it immediately. Like you would take the action and do it. Right. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle is consistently taking action
Hmm.
and consistently following up. And when you do those things, even in one of our markets that we are in, we haven't bought a property there yet. But I could call that broker, several of the brokers, and they will still have a conversation. They know we're at least serious. Like they know we're not like, going to just jump ship. We're going to take a look at the property. We're seriously going to take a look at the property, and I'm going to have a conversation with them about it.
What's cool is I can even hear it in your talking now is that the we haven't brought a property there yet, right? Because
Right.
now it's there. Like now you can do it, right? And
Yes.
so that's just the process is just it hasn't happened yet because the steps come in play and we can't predict when it's going to be the right property, right? When it's going to be our
Right.
right offer, when it's going to be the right time, when we're going to be in the right position. But what we do is we're not going to be lucky when it happens. We're going to be consistent. We're going to be creating our own luck through the actions we take. And
Right.
that's been
And I
the
remember,
power.
yeah. And I remember saying that to you. I think when one of the beginning coaching, I think I remember saying something like, I can't see it yet. Like I'm not there yet because
Yeah.
I still had a lot of steps to take. I still had a lot of learning. Like, I still have a lot of learning, but I had a lot of learning at that point. But I was willing to take the steps needed. And I remember saying, oh my God, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where I got it where I was like, I can see it now, because we are doing that. And I think that was a big thing for mom and I too, is really taking the action.
Well,
It's
we
the
love it.
action.
And honestly, we loved having you as part of this seven-figure multifamily community here. So talk to us about mentorship. What are some things that have been really beneficial coming from just not only just like what's in the program, but just being around other like-minded people that are other members that are just out there looking to accomplish the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, first of all, the mentorship and the coaching is for me, it's everything. As a coach also, right? I always motivated people, I inspired people, I supported people, right? And I guided them. I always talked about it being inspired action and really helping them take those steps because they wanted those steps. And it was one step at a time, literally, for some of the things I was training people for. And it's the consistency and it's the mentorship. And it's kind of how I feel when I was with my clients, and I know how I feel in this program with the mentors and with the other people, like-minded people, is the success and the steps that we take. The coaches and mentors absolutely 100% are supporting you and happy for you. Like, they're thrilled for you on this journey. When you go forward, like, they're really happy about your success. And that's key for me. As a coach, that's key. I want somebody who's just going to be as proud of my success as I am. You want that. And the group is so inspiring. I mean, everybody there is very supportive, very inspiring. It's all helpful. It's all accountability. It's getting you to up level because everybody there is up leveling.
You know,
And that's the point.
yeah. When we look at things, it comes down to it. We know you can do it, right? And it just becomes like, and here's the steps, like go do these steps. But we did need you to be able to see it and put it in there and help you on that path to say, like, not yet, right? Because the yet is coming, right? And it's always there. And I think so many times it just, people don't get started because they can't see it and they don't understand the yet is always there, right? And I look back to
Right.
when, and there's different stages and different seasons for everyone. Like if you were to say when Peely and I were working in bars, like oh yeah, at this point in your life you're gonna have multifamily properties. Like we're like what? Like it's a whole different world until you make a
Right.
choice and it's not. And when you make the
Right.
choice and you start going forward, I mean, we look back even the last 24 months, 12 months of what you two have been able to accomplish, what we're going after now. I mean, we've been in Best and Final on a couple projects, we've been on a number of them, right? And we've been to the
Yeah.
point here now, we have a couple other opportunities in front of us. It's just, there's so much happening that you're like, wow. It's almost like you feel like that dam is like sitting there, like just hanging on. You're like, okay, I only going to take that one more log. I don't know when that log's coming down the river right now. It's going to take that dam over, and
Right.
that's the feeling I have of what you guys are doing over there. So it's just the action, but it's the action built up. It's like you're doing
Yes.
these actions and they start really creating the consistency in the process. And it's no wonder things are happening because all the
Right.
actions are being taken, and it's just
Yeah.
like kind. So congrats on everything you're doing. I'm so excited for your
Thank
mom and
you.
yourself. It's been so much fun to watch, and for everyone who's out there that wants to hear more or learn more about you guys, what you're working on here, what's the best way to connect?
Probably the best way to connect is us through Facebook. You can either check out our business Facebook page, which is EDJ Acquisitions, so facebook.com/EDJ Acquisitions, or myself, like personally. You can always get me. It's Dawn Hillenmayer Berube. It's a long one. But you can always get me personally, but you can find me on EDJ Acquisitions. I'm there. And
That's
then you
perfect.
can
So
always, yeah.
EDJ Acquisitions, and that's on Facebook, or edjacquisitions.com. That's the website there to learn about all you're
Right.
doing. And you guys do a great newsletter, so sign up for the newsletter. Lots of fun. Comes out once a month. You get it. It's a good, fun read. So I would definitely sign up for that as well. All
Yes.
right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dawn. I'm so excited to have you on the show, and for everyone listening, I told you that was going to be just awesome and inspiring in every way. So look forward to hearing more about your journeys and seeing a lot of you coming up in Multifamily Live, and we will talk to you shortly.
Thank you. Bye.